So welcome back, Elaine, to the Zoom room for another Art of Letting Go live session. So we were just having a little chat about the Serenity Prayer. So I thought it would be good to actually read it in full because it's one of the most powerful prayers, and one could argue a summation of the Course. It's what the Course is trying to teach us to do, teaching us to have the courage to change what we can, accept what we can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. But there's a full version of the Serenity Prayer, which I'm going to show you. So let's go into this. Okay, so let's share my screen. If you can read the full version for us of the Serenity Prayer to kick the session off.
Yeah. Okay. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace. Taking, as he did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make things right if I surrender to his will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever and ever in the next. Amen. Oh, so I've never read the full version, so that's very nice.
Yeah, well, let's look at it. I mean, just unpack it because there's a lot of wisdom in it. Grant me the serenity. So serenity is equanimity. It's I'm at peace. I accept the things I cannot change. There's so much in this world you cannot change. Watch the news at night. You can't change any of that. It's just happening. You can change your perception of it, which is what this is talking about. Accept the things I cannot change. Okay, well, it is what it is on the level of form, but the way that you accept is you let go. I think that's the key thing. How do you accept the unacceptable? You let it go. You let go of your belief in its reality. So true acceptance is exactly the same as letting go. You see that? It can be confusing. You go, well, what? So let's just accept all these insane things and all these horrible things. No, true acceptance is pointing to a deeper level where you've let go of your belief in those things and you accept the underlying reality that they cover. That's what acceptance really means. So that's what it means to accept the things I cannot change. Okay, I actually let go of the things I cannot change. So that's a subtle but an important distinction between accept and letting go. It's like actually they mean the same thing, but most people won't understand that until you have a deeper understanding of what letting go means, and that acceptance is really the acceptance of the underlying reality. That's what you're accepting, that there is a changeless, unchanging, perfect reality that underlies all change. And so when you go into true acceptance, then you know that and you accept that. Courage to change the things I can. So there are things in your life you can change. You have a fair degree of control over your thoughts. You can change your thoughts. You can change your emotions.
Change your house.
You can make decisions about your life. You can say, well, yes, I'd like to change my house. I'd like to change where I live, as your friend is doing.
Change your
So there's
husband.
things you can change.
Change your
Courage to
husband.
change the things I can.
You change your husband. No,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying you could change a husband, you can change anything really.
Yes. So the courage to change the things I can and that I should. You could say, courage to change the things I should, maybe would be I can and I should. That would be maybe a more complete version of the prayer. I need to be able to do it because it's within my power to change it. And anything in your personal domain where, it relies on your decision, well, you can change that because you can change your mind. So within your locus of control, you do have some control over things.
Definitely, yeah, without doubt. Well, look at Sally, her whole life's going to be changed. Whole life.
Yeah, so focus on those things. That's what I can change. So, okay, let me focus on what I can change, not rather than lamenting the things I can't. There's no point in that.
Mm.
That's why I don't watch the news because there's really no point. You can't change any of it.
No, I'm the same.
But people say, well, no, I need to be informed. Well, do you? Do you need to be informed about all of that when you can't change it? So what the
Yeah,
news
true.
fosters is a kind of helpless apathy. Maybe some people get frustrated and angry. So it's either frustrated, sort of angry reaction, or kind of helpless apathy. Well, there's nothing we can do. Oh, isn't the world terrible? Oh, isn't the crisis in the Middle East terrible? Isn't this terrible? Isn't this terrible? And that's not helpful.
I
If you
think
applied the
Eckhart,
Serenity Prayer, you'd say, well, I just need to accept these things. And the only way I can accept them really is to let them go, to stop making them that important and real to me. And so then I find this deeper acceptance of the unchanging truth that they covered over. That's what acceptance really means. And I focus my energies, effective people in this world, people who positive, inspired, inspiring, they get things done. They focus on what they can change. That's the key. Don't dwell on the things you can't change. It's no point lamenting the government and government policy or wars in wherever they happen to be, because there's nothing you can do to change that. But you can change your mind and your perception of your own life and your life circumstances, and within your domain of experience, you can change quite a lot. And that's what we should be focusing on, courage to change the things I can. And as he says, that takes courage. You need to really uh, be willing. Change is never easy. You need to be willing to change your mind. That means your status quo changes. It might be uncomfortable. You might have to make, changes in your life, circumstances. And that's why it requires courage. Because in the courage, you're facing your fears and overcoming them.
so
And
how
then
would you
just
say
the wisdom to know the difference.
Sally's situation? I mean, she's had the courage to sell up, get everything organized, obviously get a pet's home that she dearly loves. She's had the courage to do that, but yet she's very miserable.
Yeah, so she hasn't quite got the serenity formula right, has she? Serenity prayer.
No, but she's had the courage to get up and
Yeah,
get
so
everything
courage to
sorted.
change the things I can, okay. But are you
She's done that.
accepting the things I cannot change? No, that's where she's falling down. She
Yeah,
doesn't know about
right,
letting go.
right.
So she's not accepting. She's in a state of resistance about the things she cannot change.
Yeah, right.
That is what's causing her all that misery.
Yeah,
If she could learn to accept the things she cannot change, which means to let them go through this process of radical forgiveness or letting go, then she could be a lot happier. But she's got the
yeah.
courage to change the things she can. Okay, you've done that.
She's
Now
done
you
all.
need to accept the
Mhm.
things I cannot change by letting them go. That's the only way. How do you accept the unacceptable? That's the question.
Mm.
You do it by letting go of your belief in the it. So it is then no longer unacceptable to you. See, you change your mind about it. If it's illusory and it never really happened, how can it be unacceptable? See the logic.
Mm.
Right? And then let's carry on. So the wisdom to know the difference between the two. And that does take some discernment. I think most people, fall down on that.
Mm.
A lot of people spend a lot of time apparently trying to change the world, change, the externals. And that's futile. The ego just uses that to perpetuate the illusory thought system. They don't have the courage to really look hard at themselves, at their life, and say, okay, I need to make some changes. It's not necessarily going to be easy, but, it's necessary. And then he goes on, living one day at a time. So that's being in the present moment. Just one day at a time, moment by moment. That's all you can do. So that's a call to be in the now, enjoying one moment at a time. Accepting hardships as the pathway to peace. So that's an interesting one.
Accepting hardships as the pathway to peace. Yeah, that's similar to a little thing that I saw that caught my eye. What did it say? That resonated with me as well. Let's see. Ah, yes. You can use a challenge to awaken you, or you can allow it to pull you into even deeper sleep. Eckhart Tolle. That resonated with me.
Oh,
It's a bit of a similar thing there.
so that's
Isn't
a very Stoic, this is the Greek Stoic philosophers, which, preceded Christianity and most other spiritual teachings,
so the
400
wisdom was,
C or something. They
yes.
taught Stoicism was, okay, you accept the hardships, you accept that life's not always going to be roses, but you accept it as part of your practice. Your stoicism is to accept the apparently unacceptable and find in it a pathway to peace. So they were practicing a form of forgiveness even at that point. And people who've really overcome extremely difficult hardships. I mean, there's a few examples I can quote. There's, Yeshua, obviously, with his crucifixion, extremely hard lesson. But he used it as the pathway to his, not just peace, but to his resurrection, ultimately salvation. So, and then there was Viktor Frankl, who had, I think, 4 years in a Nazi concentration camp, and incredibly hard conditions. So, but he accepted it, the hardships, as the pathway to something profound, to the formation of logotherapy, which is a whole new conception of psychotherapy. Said that actually meaning is the most important thing. So he used the hardship of the concentration camp as the pathway to inner peace, higher purpose, and a fulfilling life. And that's why he survived and indeed thrived afterwards, because he reinterpreted that hardship, which one has to do. So that's an absolutely brilliant one. Accepting hardships as the pathway to peace is essential. And this because inevitably you are going to get difficulties. Nothing's going to be all good and all roses. And then carry on, taking as he did.
Taking as he did this sinful world. Just taking it all in his stride.
No. As he did this sinful world. So wonders if that's referring to Yeshua, probably. So it is a Christian prayer, taking as he did the sinful world. Trusting that he will make things right. Sorry, I skipped on. Taking as he did the sinful world, as it is, not as I would have it. So that starts speaking. Remember, not all of this is coming from a non-dual mindset. So that starts to make the sinful world real. You see how the ego does that.
Yeah.
Taking as he did the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it. So, interpreted by the ego, that means the world is a sinful place. I have to see it as sinful, and even if I wish for it to be innocent, I have to take it as it is. As it is, not as I would have it. And trusting that he will make things right. I surrender to his will. So you could take the he as either the Christ or the Holy Spirit. They're really interchangeable. Trusting that the Holy Spirit, Christ self that you are, will make all things right. That's the fundamental trust and faith in which every teacher of God rests. I surrender to his will. So the highest prayer is, not my will, but thy will be done. So that I may be reasonably happy in this life. And notice the expectation is not that you're going to be ecstatically happy and blissful, because that's unrealistic in this world. So not my will, but thy will be done. If I surrender to his will, so that I may be reasonably happy. So not setting the bar too high, just a reasonable level of happiness. Because if you understand this world isn't real and it's actually the opposite of truth, then to be reasonably happy is about the best you can expect. You're never going to find true, authentic happiness.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
You surrender. It's, surrender, not my will, but thy will. That's exactly what the Course is trying to help you to do.
Yeah, the middle way, really, isn't it? Sort of middle, as the Buddha said.
Yeah. So the middle way, this Serenity Prayer is an expression of that middle way. So you're finding a path between the extremes. You're encouraged to change the things I can, but that's all I do. Okay, well, that's not the whole picture. Serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Again, if that's all I do, then I'm just going to become a very passive mystic and just sit and be. But possible to do it differently. And then it ends off. So that I may be reasonably happy in this life, and supremely happy forever and forever in the next life.
Yeah, nice prayer.
So it's pointing us It's pointing us beyond this world. It's saying, the best you can expect here is a reasonable level of happiness. It doesn't mean it's perfect and it's always going to be perfect bliss.
Yeah. Is that going on the Telegram? Because that's a nice prayer, isn't it? That would be useful to keep in the folder.
Supremely happy with him forever and ever in the next. So what I like about the prayer is it's pointing us to
pure formless
another
awareness.
dimension, it's pointing us directly there. With a couple of little works in between, like this one where it says, taking as he did the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it. Well, actually, we've been trained not to take the sinful world as it is, because it's not real. That's the whole point. Forever and ever in the next, pointing us to eternity and saying the way you'll attain that is to be reasonably happy here and keep on doing whatever makes you unhappy. So it's not rocket science. It's a very simple idea. Just keep removing whatever blocks the awareness of love's presence in you, and you can't fail to experience the truth. Okay, so you want to read it from the top again?
Yeah.
See if anything else drops for you.
Yeah. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace. Taking, as he did, this sinful world, as it is, not as I would have it. Trusting that he will make things right if I surrender to his will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him, forever and ever in the next. Amen.
Oh, is there anything else land for you there? Any thoughts, comments, questions on the Serenity Prayer?
It just gives a feeling of comfort for me.
Yeah, I think that's why it's so popular, because it's a very simple couple of ideas in the prayer, but it's simply stated, and so it gives a level of comfort.
Yeah.
Which we all yearn for. Well, so with considering that Serenity Prayer, then let's just jump into today's quote.
Yeah.
If you can read today's quote.
Yeah. You are goodness and mercy and compassion and understanding. You are peace and joy and light. You are forgiveness and patience, strength and courage, a helper in time of need, a comforter in time of sorrow, a healer in time of injury, a teacher in times of confusion. You are the deepest wisdom and the highest truth, the greatest peace and the grandest love. You are these things. And in moments of your life, you have known yourself to be these things. Choose now to know yourself as these things always.
Hmm. So, quote by Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote the Conversations with God books, was homeless for about 9 months or so, just before he wrote them, before he was inspired to write the first book in the series. It's a wonderful reminder of the great gifts that forgiveness or letting go will bring us, which is the theme of today's lesson. It also makes the qualities of our true nature and how we might experience and express them in our lives quite practical, which again echoes what today's workbook lesson says about not waiting to accept the gifts of God or perfect love, such as peace and joy, but accepting them into your awareness now by denying the illusions that deny them. So he's talking about these qualities and saying we must deny the denial of truth, as Yeshua puts it in the Course. Deny the denial of truth, and then you must be back in the truth. So it's only the consistent experience of these gifts that is worthy of the term success. If you accept this definition of success, then radical forgiveness or letting go must become the key to living a truly successful life for you. If you deny it, you'll be forced to value external things, people, and events as so-called success. Constantly seek satisfaction in them and be doomed never to find the peace and joy. So, doomed never to find the peace and joy within your mind that will truly satisfy you according to the ego's dictates, seek and do not find. So that's the only true definition of success. Are you happy? Are you peaceful? Do you experience love consistently? If so, then you're leading a successful life, whatever materially you seem to have, but it doesn't matter.
Mm.
It was illustrated quite well. Remember the movie, the Wayne Dyer movie, The Shift?
Oh, yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Remember that scene in the park when the wealthy property developer had that row with his wife and she'd run off with the
Oh,
car and
yes.
himself.
Yeah.
So he was kind of feeling very sorry for himself and he's sitting in the park kind of going, what have I done?
Yeah, and he's
And
with
then
it.
this guy comes along and he's like, yeah, he's quite happy. He's content. He's like, yeah, I know that. He says that tree, that's my favorite tree. I like sleeping under that tree.
Ah, yes, I remember.
And so there's a message there of like he's content. He's in a better state of mind than the wealthy property developer.
Mm.
There's more wisdom and understanding, which he imparts. Some of that just transfers. And the guy having initially, if you remember, he was like, yeah, no, these homeless people, they need to get their act together, and he was
Mm.
judging them. And then actually, through that interaction, you realized, no, this guy actually he's human, he has some wisdom, he's chosen to live that way. He's chosen a simple life.
Mm.
There's, I think he appreciated the wisdom in that. Beyond the worldly success, because that couple, if you recall, it's brilliantly done because they were the typical yuppie couple. They had all the
Yes.
toys, the money, but just really deeply unhappy. The relationship was unhappy. There was no genuine connection between them,
Mm.
and then they have that massive row, and they needed to heal that. They needed to heal their relationship, and so the homeless guy was part of that healing, and then he appreciated it, and he remember he gave a donation to the homeless
Oh, yes,
homeless
yes.
house, because he realized, like, actually there is some value, and they may not have all the money and the toys that we have, but that guy reminded him in that moment of his own spirit that he'd lost touch with. Reminded him that, like, actually there is a spirit that can help, that there's still love. And so it restored him to his right mind, and then he went back and he reconciled with his wife. And so, he gives the donation because, like, well, actually, I'm very grateful because that guy might have just saved my whole marriage.
Yeah.
So then, what is success? Is it having all that material stuff and you're deeply unhappy, or is it just being happy and content what you have, even if you don't have any of that material stuff?
Yeah, the latter, of course.
Yeah, I mean, surely that should be obvious, but in our world, it's not. Because the normal definition of success is usually money oriented, it's status oriented. It's like, have you got the status? Have you got a good job, a good position in society? Have you got the money? Oh, then you're a success. But are you happy?
I know.
That's the real question. Well, if you've got all that and you're not happy, then you're not really successful.
Yeah,
You might
that's
be
true.
you're faking success, but true success is to be consistently loving, happy, peaceful, and even joyful, to have an underlying sense of I'm okay. I'm okay no matter what. That's success, isn't it? If you can have that
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Big difference. Yeah.
attitude in your life, that is a huge achievement.
It
So I'm
is.
okay whatever happens. How many people do you know who can do that?
No,
So
not
that's
many.
the real definition of success. How resilient are you? Can you let go of whatever the world throws at you, and find happiness anyway? That's true success. The true success is mastering the art of letting go. That's what true success really is and what it means. And completely discarding, our definition of success, saying, no, well, that was never, truly success. So this is the key to living a truly successful life. Just deny the false idea of success, deny the ego's version of success, which is to seek outside of yourself. The ego says, seek and do not find. Look for satisfaction in someone or something outside of you, and of course you'll never find it. So you keep seeking and you keep not finding the answer. The peace is an experience that comes when we rest in our true beingness or being, and it's typically not associated with taking action at all. So it's what I call foundational happiness, the result of what some philosophers have called the ground of being, and the Apostle Paul called the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. And it is beyond all understanding, because rational understanding is not going to get you there. It's only this higher level wisdom, which taps nicely into the Serenity Prayer. It's that kind of wisdom that is actually. So you could argue, that if you can apply the Serenity Prayer consistently in your life, then you are truly a successful human being, irrespective of what your bank balance is and what your status in this world is. The easiest way to experience this kind of peace of God that surpasses all understanding, is to meditate for an extended period of time in a way that quiets the mind. And that's exactly what this quote says. And without this background peace, happiness is impossible. So this quote expresses this truth. Without this background peace, happiness is impossible. Happiness is impossible. With it, happiness becomes inevitable and your natural state, as this quote expresses well. You can read that.
Happiness is a butterfly, which when pursued is always just beyond your grasp, but which, if you will sit down quietly, may come and alight on you.
Oh, lovely. So it's a lovely quote from an old book published in 1885 in America called The Golden Key to Prosperity and Happiness.
Yeah.
So where does joy come into the picture? Then you may well ask. Eckhart Tolle describes joy as a vibrantly alive peace, a more vital and active expression of the same underlying beingness or foundational happiness that gives rise to peace. And I quite like that. Vibrantly alive peace. So it's kind of peace on steroids. But you need the foundation of peace to experience joy. So that if you become too attached to this experience, your joy can become tainted by the mind's desire for more joy. Which paradoxically blocks joy. The more you desire something, the more you actually block it from flowing through you. So if you go out in the intention of, no, I just want, I want maximum joy today, and I really want that, and I crave it, then you actually will block it from coming, because it happens spontaneously when you let go. Whenever you craving anything, even if it's a spiritually high experience, that's just more ego, it's more craving. Such a desire or craving, as the Buddha noticed 2,500 years ago, causes suffering because it sets up an expectation that will inevitably lead to disappointment and more craving for the desired joyful state. So even a state of mind like enlightenment, if you crave it, you're missing the point, because you're desiring it and then by your desire making it somehow unreachable. It's always going to be in the future.
Yeah.
Instead of right now. So you see how dropping expectations and grievances is so important, because it clears the past and the future away in your mind, and you become one. So the Buddha noticed that any kind of craving causes suffering, and just more craving for the desired joyful state or whatever the state is. Insight does become the second noble truth. And that's the second noble truth of Buddhism. Just this insight that desire leads to suffering. That's all that the Buddha saw. A little bit, else around that. But the key insight is desire or craving leads to suffering, causes you to reincarnate. So how does one stay connected to the deep peace that is foundational happiness without craving, while experiencing a heightened state of joy in the doing of your daily activities? The answer in 4 words is let go and flow. So the answer in 4 words is let go and flow. Letting go allows you to restore your mind to a peaceful state when it's being disturbed by anything, i.e. it restores your foundational awareness. So then from the state of calm centeredness, you can act in a way that is not self-seeking. You're not seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, because that's all self-seeking. If the situation requires you to act, you may find joy arising spontaneously. So the very base level, Eckhart Tolle, incorporates this relationship between happiness, peace, and joy into a three-level system, starting with acceptance, which is the level of peace, or foundational happiness. Okay, I'm okay. I'm in reasonable peace. So I can accept whatever the drama is because I have this underlying peace. Then it progresses to enjoyment, which, as it says, is in joy, to be joyfully in flow. And then finally peaking enthusiasm, which literally means God in you. It's the Greek for God in you. So that enthusiasm, God in you, can lead to an experience of ecstatic joy. As Abraham Maslow, an American psychologist, when he called this ecstatic joy a peak experience, and he proposed that it can be experienced by someone who has reached the transcendence level. The top of his expanded 8-level hierarchy of needs, above the level of self-actualization, which was previously at the top of a simplified 5-level hierarchy of needs. Many people who have heard of Maslow's hierarchy needs incorrectly believe is the highest level in his proposed hierarchy. So that's definitely worth watching. There's his 5-level hierarchy. Most people think that's all he did. But just before he died, I think it was like a year or two before, he published another paper and revealed his 8. So definitely worth watching that to get some context. What you start seeing is that however you slice it and dice it, you can look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, as that's a hierarchy. You could look at where are we? Let's find this. You could look at this levels of mind. You could look at the map of consciousness is what I wanted. That's another hierarchy. It's another developmental system which has more levels. Whichever one you use, it's not ultimate truth. That's what Yeshua's trying to teach us. So there's many developmental levels like this. Yoga has, the Eastern traditions all have a developmental level. David Hawkins put together this map of consciousness. There's development of trust. There's levels in that. So pretty much universally, the understanding is that you go from a lower level to a higher level in order to grow. And that's what all these developmental systems posit. And the very top level, it becomes ineffable. In other words, indescribable. Just an experience of pure consciousness as he levels it. So many ways of looking at it, but they all point to the same truth. And that's what Maslow, was saying in his hierarchy of needs, that the peak experience would then be this ineffable dimension. You would certainly glimpse if you'd be in the higher reaches of love, joy, peace. Maybe even something completely ineffable. And it's a glimpse of the ultimate reality. It's a glimpse of what is actually there beyond the ego's illusory constructs. Okay, so let's go back here to So the idea of transcending the separate self is hardly a new one. It's been around thousands of years. It's the highest state attainable in the ancient Indian transformational system of yoga. Called samadhi. That means to collect or to bring together in Sanskrit. So to collect or bring together, concentration, so just in the concentration or unification of thought and emotion to produce the highest state of awareness that a person can experience, so one with God, or an alternative language in the state of pure formless awareness and perfect love. So whether you call it samadhi or you call it enlightenment or awakening, doesn't really matter. The state of mind referred to in many spiritual traditions. In A Course in Miracles, Yeshua refers to it as revelation. Doesn't really matter, it's all the same, whatever name you give it. So it's a state of a perfectly unified state of mind that transcends the body and this world entirely. Whereas a miracle entails a shift in perception, and so still involves an awareness of this world. We looked at this distinction yesterday. We see the Trinity diagram. The difference between the miracle and the revelation is that the miracle still involves this world, sense of being a separate self. And so there's a process to go through. Don't just go from being deeply rooted in the ego, thinking your body caught up in time and space, and then going into this. Generally, there are rare exceptions. Some people, like say Ramana Maharshi, have awoken and stayed awake and not had to do anything else. Oh, so miracles. So what miracles do, by focusing on what we can do, which is the miracles, we prepare our minds for this experience of samadhi or grace, enlightenment, revelation. And that's the methodology Yeshua's given us. So focus on preparing yourself for the coming of this pure formless awareness of perfect love. And you do that by raising your awareness up, by letting go of your illusions. All experience of time and space, experiences that seem to exist and happen in the physical universe of time and space, if you can let them go, this is true perception or Christ's vision that restores your mind to its true awareness, the awareness of the true self or Christ. And that prepares you for the coming of this, whether you call it samadhi, enlightenment, revelation, a peak experience. It doesn't matter. The process is clear, and this process seems to be duplicated in all the systems. There's inevitably levels, stepping stones on the ladder to climb out of total identification with your form identity, the ego, and go back into the true self. And then from there, he says, God takes the final step. You really have sincerely tried to let go of everything. And this awareness just sort of emerges, comes one with you. You kind of surrender to this awareness. That's what he means by God takes the final step. It just happens because your mind is so in this awareness anyway, already. Okay, so it's it's a good movie if you haven't watched it.
I have.
Definitely
I've seen
worth
it. Yes.
watch.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I could watch it again. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely worth watching a couple of times. So as
Yeah.
a okay, so that leads us nicely into today's lesson and the inserts. So shall we have a look at those?
Yeah. Just do the alternative, yeah, because I've done it a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look at today's insert 355. Which answers the question, what am I?
Yeah.
If you can read that in the alternative, please.
Yeah. I am perfect love's extension, complete and healed and whole, shining the reflection of its love. Its extension is honored and guaranteed eternal life in me. In me, love is perfected, fear is impossible, and joy is established without opposite. I am the innocent home of perfect love itself. I am the state of pure formless awareness in which its love resides. I am its pure innocence itself, or in my purity lives its own. So it's just again saying how in this perfect love's extension we are healed, whole, and eternal life is guaranteed, and joy is established without opposite. There's no fear, it's not possible. And this is where our true love resides.
Hi, John.
Hi, John. Hi, Elaine.
Oh, hi, John. Yeah, so that's, yeah.
Yeah, pointing us into, this is the top of the ladder, the state of pure formless awareness at the very top, which we see in this diagram. He's saying that is what beckons you. That's where you go. State of pure formless awareness, which is heaven, which is some people call this level one. Of course, I think Ken Wapnick used the terminology. Well, that's level one, and then whatever's coming in the happens in this world is level two. To try and help people to understand the difference between the levels and that to raise themselves up in awareness to go from one level to another. That's what this is all about. You
This
can't
is where
get to this level unless you've transcended the previous one, the other one.
it's just the level confusion that many of us students get. So that's because we're getting the mixed up. We're thinking we're coming from level one, but we're still in level two. Yeah.
Yeah. Level confusion is when you think this is reality, that level two is reality. You think that's that this is all there is. That's a level confusion because you think it's reality, but it's not. Actually, you're at a lower level and you're in an illusion, but you're confused about that and you think it's absolute reality. What level confusion is.
Yeah.
And to sort out that level confusion, you must let go of your belief in the people and things and places and events and circumstances and situations and the traumas and the successes. We talked about those just now, and failures and all the experiences that seem to exist and happen in the physical universe of time and space. You must let them go to raise yourself up out of this awareness and into an awareness of your true self. And that's then the precursor. What he's saying here is this is the precursor to this pure formless awareness of perfect love. Okay, so let's go on to number 2 then. John, if you can read that. In the alternative version.
Our use for words is almost over now. Yet in the final days of this 1 year, I gave to pure formless awareness of perfect love, together with Yeshua, we found a single purpose that we shared. And so I joined with him. What I am, he is as well. The truth of what we are is not for words to speak of or describe. Yet we can release our function here. And if we live by the words in us,
Realize our function.
Yet we can realize our function here. And if we live by the words in us, by the words in us, words can speak of this and teach it too.
Okay. Summary of that. What's he saying there?
So he's saying that in these final stages of the course, we are realizing that we have the same function as everyone else, and that in that we are joined. And
the words are just signposts, really. I think when he's saying the words just point you in the right direction. Ultimately, we transcend words, but while we hear time and space, words are a useful tool. We live by the words in us. Words can speak of this and teach it too. But they're symbols twice removed from reality. They're not ultimate reality, but they can be very helpful symbols. Just like signpost is very helpful on a journey somewhere. Or if you're at the destination, you don't need the signpost. But while you're on the journey, the signpost is sometimes essential. You get lost without it. Similarly, that's how this works. Words are just a signpost showing us our way back to this ultimate state of awareness we call pure formless awareness of perfect love. They're still within the domain of duality, but they're pointing us beyond duality. So words are dualistic, but used correctly, they speak of a non-dual awareness and reality. Which is why we use them, because we have to, use some symbol to point to this top level state. Okay, happy with number 2?
Yep.
Well, and if you can read number 3 for us in the alternative.
I am the bringer of freedom. I accept my part in the awakening of the world, which is free through our joint letting go. And being my gift, this is therefore given to me. I perceive everyone as a companion and every event and circumstance as beneficial and good. I do not seek a function that is past the beginning of the state of pure formless awareness. Knowledge will return when I have done my part. I am concerned only with giving welcome to the truth. So it's just saying that we are now, we're the bringers of freedom, and we need to play our part or accept our part in the awakening of the world, along with our companions in a joint letting go. And our main aim or our concern is to welcome the truth. It's the beginning of the state of pure formless awareness. And this is when knowledge will return, when we've done our part.
Well said. And summarizing the diagram, so it's all really here. You can see where these diagrams come from. It's just a visual representation of what he's saying in the text. So by letting go, we prepare ourselves, raise ourselves up into an awareness of the true self, and that prepares us for the coming of this pure formless awareness of perfect love or knowledge. And the only way we can prepare ourselves is to let go of our mental and emotional attachments to this world. That's what prepares us. So there's really only one thing we've got to do, which is forgiveness or letting go. That's what he's saying. Life's very simple when you understand that. If you don't understand that, it's very complex and very difficult, and because you're not truly understanding what's going on here. When you're trying to succeed using something that will never work, which is ultimately frustrating. He's saying, the one thing that will work is letting go. So best we just focus our time and energy on doing that. Okay, so let's go back to lesson. Happy with number 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 4, John, if you can read that.
Mine are the eyes through which my true self's vision sees a world freed from every thought of sin. Mine are the ears that hear the voice for perfect love proclaim the world is as innocent. Ours are the minds that join together as we bless the world. And from the oneness that we have attained, we call to all our companions, asking them to share our peace and confirm our joy.
Okay, thoughts on that?
So it's saying here that as we align with spirit, our minds and our eyes are joined with our brothers, and we jointly bless the world.
Yeah, call to unite with our brothers, come into this the one mind of the Christ, the true self, to realize that we share the self. I think that's the key realization any enlightened beings had. It's the same realization. We are one. Myself is not separate from yourself. We are one self. And that prepares you for the coming of grace, which is pure formless awareness and perfect love. And that's a universal experience of spiritual awakening across all the different religions, spiritual traditions, that people come into this unity awareness. They have the so-called mystic experience of the Christ as themselves, and they see that self everywhere. They feel it. It's not just a seeing. They experience it as, this is absolutely real for me. Once you've had one of those experiences, you can never go back into this limited domain of time and space that tells you that everything's separate again, because that unity experience tells you that that's not the case. In fact, it contradicts everything in the world. So, any thoughts on that?
No, it's good.
Okay. So,
5. We are the innocent messages of perfect love who speak for it and carrying its message to everyone whom it has sent to us. We learn that it is written on our hearts, and so our minds are changed about the aim for which we came and choose to serve. I bring a happy message to the extension of perfect love, which thought it suffered, Now we are free. And as I become more and more aware of the state of pure formless awareness, I will enter fully into it, and my separate self-concept will disappear in this pure formless awareness of perfect love. So we are the innocent messages of this perfect love, and we'll carry it to everyone. And they'll learn, or we'll learn, that it's written in our hearts. And well, we're free. This is then when we're free, and we'll enter fully into this state, and our separate self-concept will disappear into this pure formless awareness of perfect love. So it's the end of suffering. The nice happy message.
Yeah, and look at the diagram. You know, it's all in here, isn't it? It's saying you let go of your separated self, which believes in this world. You raise yourself up into the awareness of Christ as the one self, and that prepares you for the coming of this ultimate awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love into your mind. So it's the true self is a stepping stone, necessary intermediary step to the ultimate awareness, where we just disappear. So you just disappear into this into the heart of God, in the original, into pure formless awareness of perfect love, alternative language. And you become that. You don't cease to exist. The ego tells you that's non-existence, that's death. No, you just become what you truly are, and everything else disappears. So you are life itself. You are this pure formless awareness of perfect love, which is the very essence of life, which is God, which is everything. And you are that. Everything else just disappears, but everything else was an illusion. So it was never real. So you're not losing anything. The ego tells you this is death, but the spirit says, no, this is eternal life. You're finally waking up to who you really are. Any other thoughts on number 5?
No, it's good.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, nice message.
Okay, so that leads us nicely into today's lesson. Let's just record this. So lesson 355. Today's lesson. You can read that. Whose turn is it? John, I think. You can read that in the original and the alternatives.
Yeah. There is no end
Those,
to all. There is no end to all the peace and joy and all the miracles that I will give. When I accept God's word, why not today? When I accept perfect love's message, there is no end to all the peace, joy, and corrections that I will experience and give. So why not start today?
yeah, it's a pretty simple message. When I accept this perfect love's message, there's no end to all the peace, joy, and the corrections. Corrections restore my mind to love, peace, and joy. It's that simple. No end to them, because underlying the corrections is infinity, which is infinite and eternal. And then, question, well, why not today? Why not start today? No reason not to. Okay, so just one paragraph to read that in the original and the alternative, Elaine, kindly.
Why should I wait, my Father, for the joy you promised me? Why should I wait, my source, for the joy you promised me? For you will keep your word you gave your Son in exile. For you will keep your promise you gave your extension in exile. I am sure my treasure waits for me, and I need but reach out my hand to find it. I am sure my treasure waits for me, and I only need to reach out my hand to find it. Even now my fingers touch it. Even now my fingers touch it. It is very close. It is very close. I need not wait an instant more to be at peace forever. I need not wait a moment more to be at peace forever. It is you I choose, and my identity along with you. It is you I choose, and my identity along with you. Your Son would be himself and know you as his Father and Creator and his love. I, your extension, choose to be myself and know you as my source and my own perfect loving awareness. On the top, why should I wait, my source, for the joy you promised me? For you will keep your promise you gave your extension in exile. I'm sure my treasure waits for me, and I only need to reach out my hand to find it. Even now my fingers touch it. It is very close. I need not wait a moment more to be at peace forever. It is you I choose, and my identity along with you. I, your extension, choose to be myself and know you as my source and my own perfect loving awareness. Well, it's just saying, why waste any more time? And as promised, he will lift us from the separate self into this perfect loving awareness. If we so choose to do so, we can do it now and receive peace forever. It's right next to us. Just put your hand out and there it is.
Yeah, it's very lovely imagery. Even now my fingers touch it. It's very close. You not wait a moment more to be at peace forever. So in these final lessons, he's trying to bring us really, into this experience. And he's saying it's right here, it's right now. Pure formless awareness of perfect love is here already. It's in your awareness. Bring us very much into that experience. So it is you I choose, my identity along with you. So look at the way it's phrased. It's an affirmation. Getting us to affirm, and then that's prayer. Affirmation is the prayer. Okay, I affirm it so I'm praying that it's so. When I keep doing that, eventually I believe it's so, and then it is so for me, because it is so in my belief. You, I choose my identity along with you. So very firm affirmations, commitments, decisions that he's asking us to make in these final lessons in preparation for the final lesson, which is repeated 5 times, that really just says, well, let go and just go with the flow. And allow the Spirit to guide your thoughts, your words, and your actions, always and in all ways. That's where the Course leads us, to that outcome. Okay, so any other thoughts on the lesson? Just another pointer that's pointing us to the eternal state of perfect love, pure formless awareness and perfect love. The whole point is to allow the words to help you to experience that state, deeply and profoundly. So should we do a meditation on this?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into this. So just making yourself comfortable. Sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Up your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off with a nice deep breath in through the nose. You're breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale. Maximal inhale breath. Expanding your stomach. And sip of air in. So scan your mind and just notice anything that's not pleasant, any thoughts that don't make you feel good, any emotions that arise. Breathe into them. Nice deep breath in. Remind yourself of today's lesson as you do that. And when I accept perfect love's message, there is no end to all the peace, joy, and the corrections that I will experience. So it's no end to all the peace, joy, and corrections that I experience and also give. As I experience them, I can give them logically. I can't give them if I don't experience them. As I give them, my experience is reinforced and confirmed. That's why it says, you confirm my joy. And now the insert, consummate or confirm your joy. And just exhale. Exhale, blow it all out. So just find this deeper message of love in your heart, in your minds, in your energy system. Feel the peace and the joy come. And into them. Nice deep breath in, feel the stomach. And just listen to these words and read you one very short paragraph just to take you in. Remember, the words are just pointers, taking you into this awareness. Just watching your breath, breathing in, I say, and invite these words in to drop into a deeper awareness of you. So breathing in, nice deep inhale breath. So breathing in, nice deep full inhale breath, clench your sphincter muscles, the muscle used to lock the energy in or track the flow of urine. And then feel this warm wave of energy rising up the spine. Listen to these words, and then when I pause, you exhale out through your nose, speak the words. Why? Breathing in. Why should I wait? My source. All the joy you promised me. Ask that question, firmness and conviction. And as you exhale out through your nose, repeat those words aloud to yourself. It's an affirmation of the truth. Why should I wait? For you will keep your promise you gave your extension in exile. Breathe in again, addressing your most innermost self here, saying it will keep its promise. Breathing in again, nice full deep inhale breath. Breathing in again, maximum inhale breath. And I'm sure my treasure waits for me. I only need to reach out my hand to find it. Even now my fingers touch it. Maybe you can visualize it. Feel it. Even now my fingers touch it. And feel that. Not physically, but so mentally and emotionally. Just letting go of everything, is very close. This awareness. You need not wait a moment more to be at peace forever. So don't wait a moment more. Just breathe in. Imagine you breathing in this deep peace, contentment, love. You need not wait a moment more to be at peace forever. Repeat that. And say it is you I choose to breathe in, and my identity along with you. It is you I choose. My identity along with you, addressing your source here, the most innermost essence, very foundation of your mind. This is the prayer. Address that, and then inevitably it must awaken. You address it. I, your extension, choose to be myself. I, your extension, choose to be myself and know you as Choose to be myself and know you as my source and my own perfect loving awareness. Say I, your extension, choose to be myself. Breathe that powerful self in. I choose to be myself. Just sink into this loving awareness, this perfect loving awareness that you are. If you find any thoughts of negativity, attack, fear, anger, hatred, sin, and guilt, and so on, remind yourself that they cannot be real. There's really nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. You just breathe, relax, be still. And just observe the breath, sink quietly, deeper and deeper with each breath into really peaceful, calm. Feel into this choice that you make once and for all time. Breathe it in into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. If any thoughts that seem to disturb this peace come up, breathe in, observe them. Remind yourself that I choose, by your extension, choose to be myself, capital self, and know you as my source and my own perfect loving awareness. You surrender into this true self. Feel it in your heart, in your mind, developing your body, encompassing you. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Breathe, relax, and be still. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Just breathe, relax, be still, and surrender into this divine embrace. That's what it means to be an embrace of God. And just observing any thoughts, emotions that contradict this perfect peace or true loving awareness. Notice them, breathe into them, and remind yourself that when I accept perfect love's message, then there's really nothing else. There's no end to all the peace. And joy and love, it's all there. So you can just let go. So perfect love's message means there's no end to all the peace, joy, and the corrections that go. Why not start today, right now? So exhale, just blow out any of your personal feelings. Letting those go. And just for another couple of minutes of deep silence, you exhale, sink into this So just gently coming back, this deep state into an awareness of your body and the breath, senses in the world, and on the count of 3, open your eyes, so breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale, smile, scan your mind. Notice any thoughts, emotions, notice your body sensations, and just blow them out. From the stomach into the spine, expel all the last remaining air out. Noticing true self, Christ's peace. That's the peace that God has been called to possible understanding. You exhale, let go of anything that's not that. And exhale, on the exhale, find notice your body, the weight of your body pressing down into the chair and your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling and touching. Notice how the weight of your body presses down into the chair, your feet touches the ground. Notice what you're feeling and touching. So just notice various body sensations, what you're feeling and touching. Hands, maybe the subtle flow of air on your skin. Notice that. Notice what you're breathing in. Maybe there's a subtle smell, taste in your mouth. And just what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. So just bring back into an awareness of the body and the breath and senses in the world. Bring yourself to come fully back and open your eyes on the count of 3. Just open your eyes and just take a minute to look around in this very calm, clear, detached way. Don't select anything or avoid anything, just observe it in this very still, calm way. Notice that the underlying peace, joy, and love is there. Feel it, and then move on to another object. Notice that same awareness is there. Whether you close your eyes or open your eyes, you can also close your eyes briefly. Notice how that feels. Open your eyes. So you just anchor the state in, experience it, feel it in your heart. Get into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is infused in this loving, joyful, peaceful energy. Will carry you through tonight, not just tonight, on to the weekend ahead until our next session, which will be on Sunday evening. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and the session. I was going to attempt to do some text from the Song of Prayer, but I think it's too late and I'm too tired. I didn't get much sleep last night. So if we can call it here, and I posted it on the group. You can read that yourself. We did do a translation of it.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a nice
Yes.
weekend, everybody.
Yeah, you too, Elaine. Thanks, Jono.
Okay. See you Sunday evening, I hope.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Yep. Namaste. Bye.
Namaste. Bye, John. So that's a wrap. Thank you to Elaine and John for joining, making the session possible. So if you enjoyed the session, then why not join us for our Sunday session? It's going to be an open session, a masterclass as I call it. So go to theaolg, that's theaolg.com to find out more and register for this free Zoom session. If you enjoyed some of the material I shared up front, beginning of this video where we showed you the daily inspirational quote, and there's some commentary on that. If you'd like to receive that every day into on your mobile phone via Telegram app, then go to lifebuild.com. That's lifebuild.com to find out more and sign up. Finally, you can always hit the subscribe button to this channel. If you are not already a subscriber, hit that button and you'll be notified by YouTube whenever I go live, which 6 days a week, and any other uploads that I do, which will come this year. There will be other uploads as well, shorter, sweeter, little vignettes really taken from these videos. So that's a wrap for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed that and connected you with your true self and the pure form of source, perfect love that it points to in quite a deep and profound way. It's my wish for you for the weekend. So hope you stay in that deeply connected flow state. And namaste, which means the true self in me acknowledges and honors that same true or Christ self in you. Peace.